Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Hello fans and listeners of Broken Neck Radio, this is Zang here. I've got Dino from Factrory. How are you doing?
I am doing great. We are happy to be here in lovely Victoria.
Yes,
and on the ferry we were doing a little bit of whale watching.
Awesome.
Killer whale watching.
Killer whale watching.
Yes.
We're happy to have you here. I hope you're enjoying it. So I know you guys are heading off to Vancouver right after for tomorrow. You know?
Yeah, we're leaving Vancouver tomorrow morning. We get the first ferry out tomorrow. I think the last one leaves kind of early, so we have to take it out tomorrow.
Nice.
Which is great.
Excited?
Because it seems very beautiful here. It seems really nice.
You gonna come back?
I would love to come back. I mean, I hope the show comes out really good. We haven't played yet, so I hope it's.
Got a lot of fans down there.
Oh yeah? Okay, cool. Can't wait.
We're starting to build up.
Can't wait to see it.
We get pretty crazy here.
Good. All right.
Well, you guys have been around since 1989 with previous changes and whatnot.
1989. Yeah. It's actually 1990.
1990.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you guys are still going strong. What would you say is what do you think is the attribute as a band that keeps you guys just going?
Passion for the music, passion for what we're doing. It's we believe in it. We live it, we love it, and Fear Factory was something that I helped create back in 1990. And it was my vision on part of my vision to make this my career. You know what I mean? I didn't know where it was going to go. But I was going to give it my best. And here we are, 20-something years later, and we're still going strong. And I just think that me and Burton, we really love what we're doing. So, and it shows.
Oh, it does. We all appreciate it.
And, even though I am, 46, in some ways it's considered to be a veteran. And, in this genre, my passion for writing fast, heavy riffs, mechanical type of riffing is definitely as strong as it ever was from the beginning.
Now, what age did you personally start listening to metal, and any bands that really got you first into it?
Well, of course, when I was younger, when I was like 9, 10 years old, I heard, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, stuff like that. That really, really got me started. But it wasn't really until I heard stuff like, Iron Maiden and Metallica, Judas Priest, and that stuff really took my passion for that music to a whole new level. And then obviously Metallica, and then the Slayers, and then it gets heavier and heavier. Exodus and stuff like that, Anthrax, and all that stuff. Just really, propelled my passion even further.
Now, when you guys are writing your music and your lyrics, where do you guys draw your influences from?
It varies from everything. It varies from just something that comes within. It's some of it's a feeling, some of it's a vibe that you get, some of it is the excitement of writing a new riff, the excitement of having a new toy to play with, new amplifiers, just new sounds kind of inspire you sometimes. And then obviously, of course, conceptually, it's movies and books. And it's usually something that's, futuristic, or something that's, happening in the future, or a possible future, or, some of it can be pretty bleak, some of it can be pretty interesting because, some of the things come true.
They say the best way to get to know a person is to have a look at their personal music library. If we were to do that, what type of music and bands would we hear?
Everything. Everything from 70s to 80s. From hair metal to new wave to, early rock, to disco to punk to metal, hair metal, everything. I pretty much, grew up listening to it all. I was lucky that when I was a kid, that I had older brothers and older sisters that turned me on to a lot of stuff. Everything from Boston to Journey, to stuff like that. And then obviously when the 80s came along, the early 80s, like 1980 with Gary Newman and all those 80s new wave bands. And then obviously, when the metal thing came, and I was really into that. And then so I was lucky that I grew up with all of it. And so in my iPod, you're going to find it all. Everything from even the early 90s death metal, till now.
Now, one of our staff members, Grotto Devil, asked me to ask you, he wanted to know, as a group, as a band, when you guys are traveling on the bus, what other types of music do you guys, as a group, obviously everybody has their personal choices, but there must be some sort of group consensus that you guys like to just crank while you guys are motoring it down the road?
Yeah, usually it's classic rock.
Yeah.
You know, everybody will play. We'll just put it on like the satellite. You know, we'll just crank classic rock. Oh, I remember this song. Or because they have their own playlist pretty much, and we're like, everything is kind of like brings back an old feeling when you were younger. When you first heard the song. So it's usually that. But usually Bert likes the odd stuff, like the really odd stuff that no one wants to listen to. I usually like to put on the the more party stuff, something that's going to get you going and get you happy in a good mood. So,
Grotto Devil also asked us to ask you, what was the largest venue you can remember playing?
Largest venue? I can tell you the largest festival I ever played.
Festival?
I mean, there was one Dynamo back in the early 90s, probably about 97 or 98. There was a festival, it was like 100,000 people. Whacking open air festivals, 80,000 plus people. So nice. It's a lot of people, man. A lot of fucking people.
Must be a lot of energy.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even see the crowd. I mean, you don't see where it ends. You know what I mean? It's just a sea of people, and it's a totally different vibe than playing a small club in a big festival. Festivals, you're so far from people. Sometimes you don't feel. You don't get to feel it right away. You know what I mean? And you're kind of overwhelmed with the size of it. You get on stage, it's a gigantic stage, 100,000 people, and you're like, wow. Like, you just kind of like in this, this fish in a fishbowl in the middle of all these people. And you're like, oh, you're kind of overwhelmed by that. But once you get past that, you're like, holy shit, look at all these people.
What's the craziest thing you ever saw on tour?
Everything that we ever saw on tour? Craziest thing, I can tell you one of the craziest things that's ever happened to us on tour was, we got our bus caught on fire. Yeah, we were in England and we were driving to the airport. We were dropping somebody off at the airport, and our bus driver, I guess, we were going down the freeway, and I guess our bus driver had to use the brakes a lot, and one of the brakes got hot in the wheel well, and so it caught on fire. So he jumps out, everybody's sleeping, he jumps out, and he tries to extinguish it out, but the extinguisher ran out. So it was still, a little bit of flame, then all of a sudden it started to grow. So when it started to grow, he said, everybody off the bus. So everybody grabbed what they could, they got off the bus, and it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, luckily our crew guys unhooked the trailer and pushed the trailer back. And they opened up the bays and we were able to get all our bags off the bus, and we just sat there on the road watching it burn, just go down in flames.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, it was a pretty scary feeling. And the funny thing about it is that our merch guy was still on the bus. He was still in the bus, and the flames are going up. And it was all smoke on the bus, and one of our crew guys ran into the bus, and he couldn't see anything because it was just black filled with smoke. So he just kind of felt around, he knew where he was sleeping, grabbed him and pulled him out, and literally pulled him out. He was on the side of the road in his underwear because he didn't have any clothes.
Wow. Now, at the beginning of this month, songfacts.com stated that you guys are going to start, or already have started, on a new album. Is that true? And how's it coming?
Well, just ideas, musical ideas, yeah. Of course, I have this, hook it up to the laptop and record a bunch of stuff. Yeah, record ideas. We're just getting ideas down. You know what I mean? Trying to talk about what the possible sounds are, and we're going to get to produce it. When we're going to do it. Blah 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 blah. That kind of stuff. It's a lot of planning. We don't want to rush this album. We want it to take our time, and we want to make sure that it's the next level shit.
Nice. Well, lastly, I know you guys toured with Slayer on the second leg of the 1998 Diabolus tour.
Yeah.
And with the recent passing of Jeff Hanneman, do you have any good Jeff stories to tell?
Jeff was always one of those guys that he was kind of pretty much into himself. He didn't really talk too much. You know what I mean? But we got to hang out with him a lot. We played a lot of video games with him in the dressing room with him. He liked a lot of video game stuff, and we hung out on the bus with him quite a few times and drank with him. But I didn't really have any funny stories. We were just a cool guy. I mean, he was definitely more of a big influence on me than Kerry King was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, only because Jeff wrote a lot of the lyrics and he wrote a lot of the main riffs, a lot of the big songs.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very, he'll definitely be missed.
Yes, for sure. Well, thanks again for your time. Appreciate it, and we look forward to the show tonight.
Thank you.